I want to talk a little bit about impact sockets. So impact sockets are one of those things that they do cost a little bit more, but one of those things or one of those tools that when you have them, you can't live without them. So once you have a full set of these, they're kind of your go-to way of quickly disassembling anything that you need to disassemble, whether it's on a car, on a tractor, on an ATV, anything that has an engine. You're going to want to have a nice set of impacts. And also the more modern way to run impacts is through batteries now. You know, I do have the old air style ones that I had over the years, and I very rarely use those, I'll be honest with you. Everything is lithium battery powered and lightweight, and the go-to kind of tool for a mechanic these days is a battery powered impact tool of some sort, right? Whether it's a impact driver or an impact ratchet or an impact for, 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch straight impact to pull, bolts that are hard to pull off and stuff like that. That's really what everyone goes for. So if you're looking for impacts, you definitely want to go the battery powered way. And I'm not going to try to sell you on any brand. Trust me, I have all kinds of brands, and I only have this particular brand, and you can tell what it is because I do a lot of household carpentry type work, and I happen to have the same set for carpentry. So, naturally, I want to extend that set into the automotive mechanic world, right? So I'm going to use the same brand because the batteries are all the same on that brand. So that is why I went with this particular brand for my impacts. It's just because it's the same battery packs, and the battery packs do cost a lot. So you don't want to have to go out and buy 2 different brands or sets of battery packs, one for automotive, one for your household contractor type stuff. So that is what I did. Now, the thing to pay attention to in the impact socket world is that you can actually buy a impact socket set from a store like Harbor Freight, and it will probably work just fine if you're not a full-time mechanic. So you don't necessarily have to go out and buy the upper end Craftsman's and Snap-on or Mac Tool versions of the impacts. Those are absolutely the best, obviously, but they come with a pretty hefty price tag. So if you're thinking of buying impacts, what I would recommend you do is do a little research and check out Harbor Freight and see what they have. And go in the store, take a look at it. And for most people that are just homeowners or hobbyist mechanics, the impacts from stores like Harbor Freight's, they're probably just fine. And the reason why that is because the impact sockets are made from a higher grade steel. Even though the steel is not the made in USA steel, it's still the China version of the higher grade steel, if you will. So most likely the ones that you buy, from Harbor Freight will be just fine. And matter of fact, I've owned, before Harbor Freight came about, this was like 30 years ago, I bought a set of impacts from a tool show, right? And they were not made in USA, right? So I had these for 30 years. I have used the impacts for everything and anything under the sun, and they lasted just fine, right? So my point is, obviously if you've got a desire and a budget to buy the best impact sets, go buy the Snap-ons, right, of the world, and the Mac Tools of the world absolutely are going to be the best ones. You'll be happy. Now, if you don't have an open budget and you want to buy these to use them once every couple of months, then I think, as a matter of fact, I know that the ones that are made in China with the hardened steel, for example, the ones that are for sale at Harbor Freight, even if they're not made in China, they're a lower quality steel because they do cost less. Those will be just fine, right? You can definitely use them, and you'll probably have just as much luck as I did over the years. So that's kind of what I'll say about impact sockets. So that's the real big difference when it comes to the impact socket world versus the regular socket world. The regular sockets, the ones that are made from not so much the hardened steel, those definitely try to definitely stay in the upper end if you can. For example, anything in this drawer, try to stay with the Craftsman's and up, right? Don't try to go and buy the Harbor Freight versions of these. On the impact sockets, which will be these guys, that's not the case. You could definitely get away with it if you're a hobbyist mechanic and not a full-time mechanic. So that's my overview of the world of impact sockets and kind of how you want to approach that. And if you're going to buy these for somebody who's getting into mechanics for the first time, they're going to have these their entire life. So also factor that in. This is not something that you're just going to throw away and replace every 10 years, right? So you will have these sockets, for the entire life that you want them, and they will last. Then what's going to change most likely is the power, right? So you see how the air tools went from battery tools over the years. That could change, in the next 10, 20 years, but I don't think the sockets themselves, the actual sockets, will change. So don't feel like you're wasting money if you're spending more on a real nice set of impacts. It'll definitely will be worth your money, and you will get a lot of use out of them for sure.